So one of the first questions that occurs to me as I'm rereading the novel is what to make of this epigraph that appears on the title page. Um, in most cases, when we have quotations like this that are strategically placed at the starts of chapters or of books, we expect them to mean something about the themes that are forthcoming, or maybe to give us an interpretive key, or to set certain expectations, maybe even to make a connection to another work of literature that we don't that we wouldn't otherwise think of as we are starting to read this new one. And this particular epigraph poses some challenges. We get this short, "Vengeance is mine, I will repay." Um, some of you might recognize that quotation. I don't want to comment too much on what it might mean for this novel. I want to ask you to think about that. But one of the things that I think might help you to start thinking about it is to think about the origins of this quotation. So this is a quotation that's both familiar in its origins and uncertain in its origins at the same time. It's taken from the Bible, but one of the things that's perplexing about this quotation is that it's actually taken from two different sources in the Bible. It is originally, or it's originally found in the book of Deuteronomy, which is part of the Jewish scriptures, the first five books of what the Christians call the Old Testament. And there, the context is a guarantee of eventual judgment against the enemies of God's people. There's a list of injustices that are given in this chapter, Deuteronomy, and then it culminates with this promise that eventually God will repay this wrongdoing. That the fact that it hasn't been punished to this point doesn't mean that it won't eventually be punished. But that isn't the only place that this phrase appears in the Bible. It also appears later in the exclusively Christian part of the Bible, what Christians call the New Testament, in the book of Romans. And there, it's given as a reason for Christians to withhold their own desire for vengeance and judgment, and instead to treat their enemies with kindness and love. And the idea there is that you have to entrust God with these questions of ultimate justice. And so this quotation can either be taken as a promise of eventual judgment or an encouragement to avoid judging other people. And as you will see, this is a relevant question that you'll have to face as you consider the things that are happening in this novel. So I'll ask you to think about which reaction is the right one.